Wrestling fans, welcome to the Big Schmoz. I'm Scotty Bender alongside superstar Rob Schulz and the big guy.
Oh, my gosh.
Big news this week. Big news. Becky Lynch Preggers.
Oh, yeah. Preggers.
She's got these Seth Rollins seeds firmly implanted in her.
Totally stumped her.
Schmoz podcast.
Yes. Yeah, she's pregnant. We all saw it. If you were watching, Raw this past week. She forfeited the title to Oksana, excuse me. Forfeited the title due to the pregnancy. I don't know. I'm not going to want to dictate people's lives and tell them when to get pregnant or not. I think it's a mistake. I think her career's over. It's done. Bye-bye.
You feel like Shayna Baszler does.
What?
You feel like Shayna Baszler. How stupid could someone be to get pregnant when they have the title?
Well, she's in, and there's arguments out there. Oh, it's a good time to do it. It's not a lot of TV, but I go in the opposite direction. This is when they need her the most. I mean, she is probably one of the most popular wrestlers, men or women, in the Fed right now, and she goes and does this. And again, congratulations. I don't wish any harm on, of course. Everything works out with her, but I think her career is over because once you have a child as a woman, I first of all think her edge is gone. Her edge of that, the man, that tough kick-ass lass, it's gone. It's gone. She's a mother now. It changes everything. And I don't think she could come back and regain what she had before she left to be pregnant. And I don't see it. I think as a mother, people are going to look at her as a mother, and you just don't see this kick-ass woman that's got a child at home going out there, putting herself on the line, getting hit with chairs and doing all sorts of nonsense in the ring when she has a child at home. So I this could be the last of Becky Lynch.
Yeah, that's a fair statement, I guess. But you also have Lacey Evans, whose kid has been on screen, and she's still pretty tough. So maybe this will just be the next chapter of Becky Lynch.
Rob, we're talking Lacey Evans, Becky Lynch. It's like apples and oranges in my opinion.
I know.
Becky Lynch has got that super stardom. I mean, again, I would rank her as popular as some of the. I mean, if you took all the wrestlers, men and women, and put them in together, I think she's top 5 in men or women. Maybe even top 3.
Scotty, apples and oranges are still both delicious fruits.
I just don't see. And like I said, Lacey already had the kid coming in to the Fed. I just think it's going to change things, and I don't know. And is Seth Rollins going to, also he's in, the Fed? Is he going to want her out there? Putting herself out there and possibly getting injured when they got a child at home. I don't know. I'd be surprised if we see her back again anytime soon. Maybe for like cameo appearances here and there, but I don't see her coming back the way she was.
All right. Big guy.
I do like that. What's that, Joe?
Ronda Rousey is, trying to have a kid, and she plans on coming back. So, I think Becky can come back. Will she be effective?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I think you as a mother, you come back a little softer. I mean, you got that. You're a mother now. It's just different, So, but
How many kids does Natty have?
None.
Tons of cats.
Oh.
But I do like that. That she came out, that they, she handed the title over. So we'll see what happens, talking to, and then we got that. Then also you got Sami Zayn stripped of the Intercontinental Championship because he won't, he won't fly due to the pandemic. What's that, Rob?
Also pregnant.
Yeah. He won't lose his edge, though.
Yeah.
So now the tournament's tonight, SmackDown.
Yes.
Any odds-on favorite? Who do you think?
Well, judging from Otis's success at Money in the Bank, I hope Tucker's in this tournament.
We'll get to Otis in a little bit. We'll have some Otis chat.
I don't know who's in the tourney. Drew Gulak would be a cool win.
Yes.
It's be a great way for him to sneak on through, really show what he's made of. Let the people see what we already know.
Big guy Big Guy. Do you know who the participants are?
I don't think they've announced it.
I know. I don't think so either.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Cesaro or Shinsuke. Because ultimately WWE has a story planned out, and they want to get right back to it.
Yeah.
Business as usual. They're not looking to shock anyone. No Shorty G.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So do you think Sami made a good decision by giving up a little push that he had? I don't know.
No, it's probably not a good
No, I don't think it's good at all.
career decision. No.
No, I don't at all. I think with the testing, I mean, they are getting tested. I mean, Roman Reigns is a different story. This guy had cancer, so I get it. Okay, I absolutely get it. Sami, but Roman Reigns could step back into the spotlight tomorrow and regain his shine, and it would be business as usual. Where Sami Zayn, I don't know if he's got that kind of juice. So he's got a little run right now. He has a championship, and I think I would have been in his best interest to see what he could do to get and get on TV. Now he's stripped, and I think it's a bad decision for him.
Yeah,
it's
kind of like the Dr. D, Dark Side of the Ring, where. Mm-hmm. Dr. D got punished for beating up John Stossel. Hulk Hogan did not get punished for Belter. It's kind of the same thing. Roman Reigns is going to be welcomed back as a hero, and Sami Zayn will probably be stuck on main event with hopefully Apollo Crews.
Yeah, no one ever said the WWE was fair, and no one ever said the WWE treats everyone equally. So we've seen that throughout history with the WWE. They pick and choose, how they want to dish out or dole out punishment when it comes to certain offenses or certain things that are deemed, not, inappropriate or however you want to put it. So no surprise there. Like you said, great example. Hogan, goes and chokes out Richard Belzer and almost puts him to sleep. And then, Stossel, who was on the direct command of McMahon to go out and be his character, slaps Stossel. And then, now his career was over. So, the HR department's definitely, they got their lines crossed down there in Stamford.
I remember hearing a gasp from the crowd.
What do you mean Owen fell? He goes, Owen just fell.
There was Owen. He was like laying in the ring, like face up.
Is this really real?
I said, something's wrong. It was unnecessary. It didn't need to happen.
Someone doesn't just fall from the top of an arena. Something went wrong.
Owen Hart is the subject of the next Dark Side of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, May 23rd, the infamous fall at Over the Edge. 20 years it's been since Owen's been gone. 20 years. Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about, I wonder how his career would have went for the last 20 years. Where would he be as far as the greats in this wrestling business? Would he have eclipsed Bret Hart? Would he have eclipsed certain individuals that we consider, some of the greats of today? I think he was on the path. I do. I think he would have probably been one of the greatest of all time. I don't know if he would have been on the Mount Rushmore. That's a little crowded up at the Mount Rushmore for greats, but I think he, for this career that he had, he's still considered one of the greatest, and that was 20 years ago.
I think he definitely had the technical prowess. I don't know if he had the household name status that a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels do. To my understanding, though, he was getting ready to retire like not too long after that pay-per-view, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think you're mistaken.
Oh. Huh.
I think he
was getting ready to walk away.
He was tired of the blue blazer gimmick.
Right. Yep.
But he was only 33. I think he.
But would he have eventually jumped ship down the road? Because he was one of the last Harts left at the time. Davey Boy Smith had left, Bret Hart had left, Jim Neidhart was gone. Was. So he was the Black Hart. As I recall, there at the end, having it out with Vince McMahon. So would he have jumped ship? It's interesting to see. Just a gone way before his time, and just a tragedy. We all kind of you remember certain things, and I remember watching that pay-per-view, and it was just like, what the hell's going on? And it was disbelief. It was so surreal. Like, really, this happened? Yeah.
I was watching with a group of people. It was a mixture of wrestling fans and non-fans, and the non-fans were convinced it was a work. Like, Oh, it's all part of the show. He's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, at first, probably people you didn't know. Vince McMahon. He's who the hell knows what he was up to? He's at that time that was this era when anything.
As a wrestling
was
fan, you knew something was up. The way Jim Ross was acting and Jerry Lawler, you knew the way they cut to the. Yeah, they cut to the crowd.
There was no
and
joking.
they didn't cut away back to the ring. I mean, it was a very unusual situation that you never saw before.
No.
You knew something was up.
I remember JR sitting there alone, and King came back with a look on his face like, and then I remember later JR going, this is not an angle, this is not a work. And then telling us the news. So, definitely.
And it was totally avoidable. That's the whole thing. It was something, he didn't pass away because he had a disease, God forbid, or had something that, that God brought upon him. It was a fuck up, and it shouldn't have ever happened. And that's what I think what's really sad about it.
I was going to say, how about some favorite Owen Hart?
Yeah, I was just going to go there. I would have to say, probably one of my favorite feuds, and probably would go down as one of the WWE, WWF greatest all time feuds, is him and Bret Hart when he turned on him at the Royal Rumble in '94. After match, he kicked his leg out, and enough was enough. And then it led to that, the WrestleMania 10 match, which, again, phenomenal match. And that was a great angle. I mean, two brothers. I mean, when have you really ever seen that in wrestling? That was a first, And brothers always, they always say the worst feuds are between two brothers, and it was intense. And, again, you got your emotions going. It was, I don't want to use the word believable, but it grabbed your attention. It got you, again, what do I always say, emotionally invested. But great angle, great turn, and
My first exposure to Owen Hart was when he was a member of New Foundation with Jim Neidhart.
Yep.
And, he was the Rocket Owen Hart back around that time, too. Awesome music. I remember I really loved his music. I did like him, though, of course, the Nation of Domination and his caution tape thing and his Black Heart deal. And I'm X-Pac fan, one of the few in the world. So I got to see them feud a whole bunch, and that was always good times. Yeah, very technical guy, though. Very skilled, for sure, between the turnbuckles.
I love his sense of humor.
Yes.
The way he took two-time Slammy Award winner.
Yeah.
He actually made it something.
Yeah, onto his tights, even, on the one on each side. His Slammies. Very good.
I loved the tag team with him and Yokozuna. I liked the combination. He had this big monster, Yokozuna paired up with a guy that was a total opposite as far as ring style, and Owen Hart, the technician, 4-time tag champion. So I always enjoyed that team. I just like the way I just like that combination of size and strength, and you have the technician. So I thought it worked. And who could forget the infamous dungeon match with Ken Shamrock in the dungeon. In the Hart Dungeon.
I'll also say he made me like Jeff Jarrett when they were teamed together.
Yes.
So that right there should put him on Mount Rushmore.
But so I'm really looking forward to this dark side coming up this week. It's funny, kind of with season 3 coming out. I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I'll be transparent here. I don't know of any other ones that are coming out in season 3. I have nothing about the next season, but I happened to stumble across a match on YouTube the other day. It was Masa Chono. It was a match in Japan. It was Masa Chono versus Johnny Law or China. I think China would make a good dark side.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I also thought about Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That might, I don't know, I mean, and that, I was just thinking, who can we, who else, what other things could they do for Darkseid? But I definitely thought China would be an absolute win-win. I mean,
how about
right there.
Iron Sheik?
Yeah.
And some of his
that would be
escapades.
That would be more of the darkest side of wrestling.
All
right?
right.
Get Pee Wee Castle, get him involved in all the drugs, So, and then, this past week, I mean, not to go back, but the Road Warriors, I thought that was really good this week. I really enjoyed it. It kind of brought me down memory lane as a kid growing up watching Georgia Championship Wrestling and remembering when the Road Warriors debuted And I just remember, seeing these guys, and they're probably one of my favorite teams of all time. And back then, I mean, you think of all the teams like the Four Horsemen or the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. All these teams were, break down a body part. It was more tag wrestling, more of a fluid, tagging it out, working an arm, working like these guys just went out and kicked your ass. I mean, they threw caution to win. They would just go out and bury you. And I just remember thinking that no one could ever beat them. I was always like, there's no one can beat them. Nobody. They're just too dominant. They were athletic, for their size. I mean, they weren't the biggest technicians, but they could move in the ring, and they were just tough. So it was. I liked watching. It kind of brought me down memory lane this week, and just to kind of live the Road Warriors. And again, another tragedy, with Animal, but I thought they did a good job with it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were the tag champs on WrestleFest, the arcade machine. I get done with my bowling at Dewey Gardens, go take a whirl over there. Yeah, they were tough guys.
We'll be right back here. Welcome back to the Big Schmaz. I'm Scotty Bender with Rob Superstar Schulz and the big guy, and we just had the pleasure of watching Money in the Bank this past Sunday. Overall, I think it was good. I didn't really have any, not all the matches were great, but overall, I thought they did a good job. I mean, I actually really enjoyed the ladder match. I got to tell you, I love the inner connection with the men and the women, and some funny comedy spots. I mean, the food fight, going in where McMahon's yelling at them, and we thought a couple of people died. I actually really enjoyed it. What I liked about it too is it didn't go too long. It wasn't like drawn out. It was a good amount of time. I actually I gave it a thumbs up. What about you guys?
Yeah, the risk was worth the reward.
Yes,
so they keep
it always is.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank goodness for that secondary roof that was only 6 feet down. Otherwise, Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black may not be with us.
Yes.
Anymore. I mean, good that side of the building too. Only on that side. That's awesome. I have come to like Otis a lot before this match, so him getting into the match was okay. What are they going to do with this? And then the rungs breaking on him when he was walking up. By the way, I'm pretty sure heavier people have climbed the ladder before, so I don't know why they're breaking. Also, people on shoulders climbing ladders, and it doesn't break it. Anyway, we get to see Otis on SmackDown tonight, the first time since winning the Money in the Bank, so we'll see where he goes with this. But I am all for fresh stuff all the time. I love it fresh. I like to keep it fresh. And Asuka winning as well. I mean, I think that's great. And she got the belt, of course, we talked about earlier. So we shall see where this goes. I liked it. I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah,
big guy.
So my concern, Otis, will he go for the tag belts?
Oh,
that'd be kind of a waste, right?
Yes, that's the thing.
Well, his appearance tonight on SmackDown is on MITB, and they just love tag teams.
I wasn't very happy Otis won the belt, won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I wasn't very happy. I mean, I'm not going to take a bunch of time up on this show to shit all over it, but I'm just there's very limited what you could do with it, in my opinion, with him. And I don't know. I just was like, didn't really care for it. But again, hopefully they've had some ideas on what to do with it. But I just,
he does have real credentials though, like real wrestling ability, like, All-American something or other, right? So, I mean, maybe this is where he, sheds the comedy a little bit, and he's really a guy to work, he's strong. He's strong. He can wrestle. So, I mean, let's see where it goes. I don't see Roman.
No, but you know what? I honestly, whenever I see him or watch him wrestle, or whenever I see him, I always get the Eugene feel from him, and that's I think what I have to get over is that I view him as like a hybrid, a Eugene. I just like a goof that, I mean, obviously they can't, they would never put a monthly handicap out there now with that way PC, how everything's PC, but he just, I don't know. He's like, I'm just, No, I'm just not buying it. I'm not a big fan, especially on his own. And, he's like, the going after the girl like George Steele. I don't like those. I didn't care for the angle with, again, it's all opinion, but it just doesn't work. It didn't work for me,
But I agree. You take the comedy away from him, and he's nothing.
Right. He can't go on anything else. What's that?
He's Jake Millman.
Yeah, well, 3 times Jake Millman, but a concern I have, this isn't a concern about the match. It's my concern about the cinematography type matches they're doing now. Is I'm really hoping that this whole pandemic thing is, by the time Money in the Bank rolls around again, WrestleMania will be having at least fans, because I don't think you can keep doing these type of matches like this, because there's nowhere to go from there. I think this is a one and done with these. You can't have them do again a ladder match at corporate headquarters and do it again. It's not going to have the same shine to it. It's not going to have the same feel to it. This is a one and done. So a boneyard match, you can't redo that again. So these matches they're putting on with a lot of production, and they're filming them, and they're filming like movies or whatever. Eventually it's going to get old. You can't, if we come around in the pandemic next year and they can't do Money in the Bank in a stadium or an arena, you can't do this again. You can't be, corporate headquarters and doing it again. I just don't think it'll work.
Also, I would have liked it if it was an actual match when they got to the ring.
Right.
Instead, they maintain that cinematography look, as you say, and I thought it totally took away. I wanted to see Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles actually wrestle, and it felt kind of ripped off a little bit by that.
Yeah, I thought it definitely went a lot shorter than I expected it would. I thought it was going to be a long draw. I think the pay-per-view was over by 9:30 or something like that. I remember looking at my clock.
Shortest WWE pay-per-view in the last 7 years.
I was going to say, because I remember looking at the clock going, oh my God, it's only 9:30.
Yeah. I was expecting to go to 11 for sure.
No, because you're always playing for that.
Jeez, Scotty, we watched that WrestleMania at your house that went over. It was 5.5 hours.
Oh my God, it was 2 days. You guys were camping out and shit. Jesus, remember that?
And not the actual one that was on 2 nights. This one felt like 2 nights.
I even went in and out about 3 naps. You know what I mean?
The Big Schmoz Podcast.
Yes.
I enjoyed as far as other matches, I enjoyed the McIntyre Rollins match. I thought that was a decent match. I mean, two really good, two good wrestlers. I thought that they had an entertaining match. I enjoyed that. I will say for the Braun Strowman match, I'm glad that he beat Bray Wyatt and not The Fiend. I'm glad that he destroyed Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend. They took all this time to build The Fiend up, and then lately he's just been getting beat. So I was kind of glad that it was Bray Wyatt that he defeated, not The Fiend, because that can be down the road, and they can, hopefully, if they do a match again.
Is that this is going to continue down the road, and we're going to look at 3 months of this feud. I'm not into it at all. I think Braun is terrible on the mic. Mm-hmm. He's doing all these promos. Bray Wyatt, he gives it everything he's got. His promos are awesome, and Braun has one expression on his face the entire time.
Yeah, he's not good. Oh, let me clarify. I'm not a big fan of this feud either, so I'm going to go with the big guy on this one. I'm not a fan. I was just glad that at least in the arena that they were in this pay-per-view, it wasn't The Fiend who got squashed. It was Bray Wyatt. I just would have been disappointed if it was The Fiend, because I'm a fan of The Fiend, and I just was hoping that it wasn't him.
Yeah, I feel like The Fiend is kind of like the cinematography matches in that he's run his course. I mean, where else do you go with him? Goldberg beat him. He's done.
Right. There you go. Put a knife. Yeah, stick a knife in him.
Think of the fireworks though after The Fiend beats Strowman and then Otis cashes in on The Fiend. Wow, it's gonna be great.
Stranger things have happened.
Yes.
So let's take a look at AEW as we transition to talking about Double or Nothing.
Big pay-per-view coming out.
Come on. He's talking to Dasha Gonzalez.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand corrected. the self-proclaimed AEW World Champion, Mr. Brodie Lee.
Oh my God, that's hurl-worthy. The gall, the temerity of Brodie Lee to call himself champion without earning it.
He wins every damn time, and Moxley loves to fight, and he's here to get some. Oh my God! What a clothesline by the champion.
Over the top.
Moxley is pissed.
Brodie Lee just shoved one of his followers in the ring. Oh, the paradigm shift.
It's a human sacrifice while Brodie runs away like a scalded dog here.
He left with 10. 10's got the belt, and 10 is going to face Moxley next week here on Dynamite. They walked out with the belt again. Jon Moxley is chasing his title belt.
At Double or Nothing, there will be a hailstorm of violence, and when the dust settles, Mr. Lee, you may very well find that your AEW career is over before it started.
Fans.
Yeah, fans match I'm definitely looking forward to. We've been talking weeks about where are they going to go with Brodie Lee, and we've been that question was answered a few weeks ago when he took attacked Moxley with his minions, the Dark Order group, and they took his belt. So he is the uncrowned champion, and it's going to be that's a match we've talked about. I think big guy. I remember when we first were talking about before Brodie even debuted, we would said what match would who would we like to see him wrestle, and I think him and Moxley was up there, so we're going to get it at Double or Nothing.
Definitely.
I thought it was funny doing the promo last week where he's talking to Moxley on the ground. He said, "I'm not the same guy you looked at in the eyes, not too long ago." And I think that's pretty interesting. And I kind of wonder what the big head honchos of WWE are thinking when they see this guy. They just, okay, bye. And he's in the main event of the other brand's pay-per-view.
Talk about Moxley.
I don't think it's
both of them.
Or Cody.
Or Cody.
Or Jake Hager.
Jake Hager.
Or
yes.
Gold Dust.
All of them. Yes. All of them.
Well, I think the thing with Brodie, this was his first lengthy match in a long time, and I think it showed his match with Christopher Daniels.
Yes. Christopher Daniels definitely got some offense in.
Yeah. And I felt like Brodie looked a little out of ring shape. When was the last time he wrestled more than 5 minutes? I'm thinking his match with Donovan Dijak from WrestleMania 2 years ago.
Yeah, that could be.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember watching the match and thinking as the match got progressively as it went on, it got sloppy.
It did.
It was getting a little sloppy. And I thought the same thing. It just something was off. So it's funny that you bring that up about the ring rust.
And
you're right. He's been squashing people.
Yeah, it's a disadvantage of AEW wrestling. Even if there wasn't a coronavirus, you're only wrestling once a week. And if you've got ring rust, doing squash matches isn't really helping you out. You don't have those house shows to do 20 minutes,
Yep. And a lot of the guys they fight. A lot of the guys they wrestle in the pay-per-views are, you said, our matches done at the house shows months beforehand. Try runs, and so they already wrestled these guys before. So, and to my knowledge, I don't think him and Moxley have ever wrestled each other, have they? Did they wrestle in NXT at all, or?
Yes.
Oh, they did. Okay.
They feuded in CZW as well.
Okay, that's right. Okay. And then we've got the television championship, the TNT championship, Cody and Archer. That'll be a good match. Interesting to see how that's going to break down.
Now, if you had to build up that match in the go-home show for TV, what better way than a promo segment with Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake? That's how you build a match, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Jake hasn't looked too good.
No, he hasn't. No,
So there's video. Jake, he's been staying at a really nice hotel while he's filming these episodes.
He's at a DDP's.
He demonstrated how to use a bidet.
Oh.
Oh God.
Yeah. So look that up if you.
Oh, we're not showing it right now?
Oh no.
Okay.
So they built up the Stadium Stampede match with the Inner Circle and the Elite. You've got the Young Bucks and Adam Page. Have not been on TV, haven't been wrestling.
Weeks.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going to show up and all of a sudden do a match that, knowing how AEW is probably going to be a 40-minute match.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be a long match with a lot of high spots, and they're going to be doing them in the arena. This isn't just a normal wrestling match in the side of the confines of the squared circle. This is going to be all, like all over the stadium, high risk, man. It's hopefully no one gets hurt,
And then Page can go into an ice box for half an hour and come out as Damascus.
And Vanguard's gone. Vanguard's destroyed this week. They destroyed Vanguard. The bat. I knew that was coming when he's holding the bat. I'm like, Vanguard's history.
And what did he name the bat? Floyd?
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen.
So other matches, we have the Casino Ladder match, which sounds like a combination of the Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm. I think actually you're probably right.
It'll probably be a good match. It's got all the little guy high flyers like Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian.
Ray Phoenix had that sick kick on Marco's stunt out of nowhere.
Hey, speaking of Darby Allin, real quick, go back for 1 second. Was it me or does Taz not know how to hold a microphone doing the interview? Did you see that? He was like holding the microphone, talking like the microphone was like, you know what I mean? He was like Bill Franklin. Like he wasn't even like holding the mic right.
Another,
you know what I mean? He was like holding it so weird. He was like talking. It's like, no, you got. I don't. If it's a dead mic, still you got to pretend it's there and use the mic. Like I noticed that. I was like, what's he doing? Taz looked terrible.
Human suplex machine, Scotty, not human interview machine.
No, I know. I just had to make a point to say that because I think I even texted Big Guy during the show, like, he's not even holding the mic right.
So, and then there's the women's title match.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be right back. One more segment to go.
Yeah. MJF to a Jungle Boy, don't forget.
Yeah.
And we are back on the Big Smosh. Scotty Bender, Superstar Rob Schulz, and the Big Guy. And Big Guy's going to take us into our final segment here.
Yeah, because it's time for the hottest segment in all the internet. It's called Schulzie Explains It. Rob Schulz, this week, please explain to our viewing audience the night the Radicalz showed up on Monday Night Raw.
This was cool. I was over at JT Krause's house. Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, not a part of this, the franchise Shane Douglas, who wanted badly to be involved. He was not. So these four guys jumped ship. They were formerly the Revolution in WCW, except Guerrero was not a part of that. But yeah, anyway, so those four guys appeared in the crowd, and it was like the first time that something like that had happened in either a very long time or ever. I had never seen something like that. I know Hillbilly Jim came out of the crowd years ago. Anyway, so I don't know if it was that night or a week or so later, probably a couple weeks, they ended up fighting DX. I know that Eddie Guerrero broke his arm in a tag match, and Chris Benoit had to fight Triple H. And did Dean Malenko fight X-Pac? Maybe. I don't know. Good stuff, though. Very exciting. Those guys were being held down vanilla midget style in WCW, so they got to spread their wings and fly, and they all did awesome, especially Saturn. with Moppy. Scotty?
Yeah.
Wow, there you have it. Time for a hot button with Bender.
Yeah, hot button with Bender. Not too many people get this far into the show, but that's okay. So I can probably say whatever I want as well as politically correct, and no one's going to be listening. So anyways, only kidding. So my hot button this week is basically about some comments that were made this week by a pitcher from the Tampa Rays, Mr. Blake Snell. So anyone who's following along, they're talking about bringing baseball back. And right now, the Major League Players Association, they're trying to hash out everything as far as compensation. Back in March, they agreed to do a reduced pay, a prorated amount for the amount of games. Now the Major League's coming back and saying, it might be a 50-50 revenue player split, between the owners and the players. And some of the people, are complaining about it. So, but it really hasn't been too much talk. But Blake Snell decided to open up his fucking mouth and make the comment that he ain't playing. He's going to go and get his. Going to come get it. He wants to get his. And he just talked like a stupid ass. He sounded ghetto. He didn't even come across professionally. He basically just said that he's not going to take a pay cut. He won't play. And that he is, putting his life on the line. Bullshit, putting your life on the fucking line. Has anyone seen the mortality rate of coronavirus? Okay, you pitch. You don't even fucking play every day. And, he made this big deal that he's not going to play and yada, 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 and I'm looking, I'm like, well, you know what, Blake, you had a fucking 6-8 record last year with a 4.29 ERA, you fucking clown. All right. Your career might be dead before the coronavirus gets you. So he just came off. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And he just came off as an ass the way he sounded. And then Bryce Harper had to chime in. Mr. $330 million, 13-year contract signee has to come in and said, he ain't lying. First of all, ain't a word, Bryce, okay? I don't know what school you went to, but that's not even a fucking word, okay? And then here's a guy that, $330 million, okay, over 13 years. You think that this guy, and he's backing up Blake Snell. There's people that lost their jobs during the pandemic. There's people that lost a lot of money, stocks. People are broke over this, and they don't have the luxury of, oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna, I don't want to play. I don't want to get all my money. Fuck off. How about that? Okay, Bryce Harper, I don't like you anymore. And that's that with that. And Blake Snell, again, I know you won the Cy Young yet, a year ago, a 21-5 record, but prior to that, you were 6-8, 5-7. So I think you're a flash in the pan, and you're just going to be an afterthought down the road. You're going to be the butt end of a bad joke, I hope. And then the biggest comment he made is, he's like, oh, people are going to say that I'm not playing baseball for the love of it. That's what you play baseball for. You play for sports for the love of it, okay? Especially baseball, okay? Football's got a high risk of injury. You can get injured in baseball, but, the longevity in that sport, and people play baseball because they love it. There's tons of people out there that would love to have a dream of playing baseball. And I get it, the money, you want what you signed for, and I understand it. But this is a time right now that we need baseball back. We need something back to lift the American spirit, and baseball is a great thing that it goes across. It's a family type sport. People love baseball, and instead of going out there and talking shit like he was and just sound like a complete ass clown, you know what? Why don't you just get on board and try to figure this out? One season is not going to kill you, okay? So that's my hot button. You hear me, fucking Blake Snell, you fucking ass. That's it.
Wow.
Okay.
Hot.
Yeah. Plus, he plays in a stadium with no fucking fans, so there you go, Blake.
All right.
Yeah.
The hottest of hot buttons.
So hot.
Yeah. All right, so we got Dark Side this week. Owen Hart, the season finale. That'll be great to see that. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll check our weekly AEW, and we'll see what happens here on SmackDown tonight with the ICW title on the line. We'll have a new ICW champion next week. Is the tournament a one-night thing?
I don't think that's
Okay, they haven't said anything.
I think so.
Fans.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
All right. We'll see you next week. For Rob Schulz, Big Guy, I'm Scotty Bender. We'll see you next week on the Big Schmaj.
Good old fashioned. Extra buttermilk.
Baby. Absolute pleasure.